The reason for my third open letter to human leaders is that in May 2013, a group of world-class scientists, philosophers, and anthropologists of the Future of Humanity Institute at the University of Oxford conducted a research. What's their finding? They drew a conclusion that mankind could be extinct in the next century at the earliest, with the chief culprit being science and technology. That was exactly what I had probed into. As of 2013, I had been studying human issues for 34 years. During the 34 years, I have checked a lot of materials and kept abreast of academic trends at home and abroad. That was the first conclusion almost consistent with mine. It was the first time that an institute had drawn a conclusion almost identical to mine. I was very excited, as for so many years, few people had acknowledged that the continued development of science and technology would exterminate mankind. For so many years, there had been concerns that a particular piece of technology could exterminate mankind, but they are individual concerns about safety issues of a certain technology. It was the first time that science and technology as a whole, rather than a specific and separate technology, are believed to be the means of exterminating mankind. And they raise the concerns basically the same as mine. In my view, human beings will extinct soon due to the development of science and technology within no longer than 200 or 300 years, or even in a century. They argue that high tech could wipe out humanity in the next century, and we both believe that science and technology are the chief culprit. Their conclusion is almost identical to mine. Our reasoning is basically the same. Regretfully, though, they didn't come up with a solution. They simply called on the world to pay attention to the issue. The solution I proposed is that we must strictly limit the development of science and technology. How do we do that? To do that, the great unification of human beings must be achieved, so as to employ the world power to restrain their development. After I read their research findings, I did 3 things. First, I wrote to the Dean of the Future of Humanity Institute at the University of Oxford, Nick Bostrom, expressing my intention to cooperate with them for further moves. Second, I published an article, "Finally, I've got a bosom friend," on the internet and in magazines. Third, I wrote another letter to human leaders. This time, I wrote with some confidence, because no one else said that the continued development of science and technology could exterminate mankind. No one had made the same appeal, or no one else with some influence had said the same thing. None. Then there was an authority that had drawn the same conclusion as I did, and they attracted worldwide attention, which reassured me and gave me more confidence when I wrote the letter. How many words in my first open letter to human leaders? More than 5,500 words. There are more than 4,500 words in my second letter. But this time, I only wrote more than 1,700 words. Why? Because in previous letters, I explained in detail why science and technology could quickly exterminate mankind. This time, however, since an authoritative research institute had claimed that science and technology would wipe out mankind in the next century at the earliest, I wouldn't bother to elaborate again from A to Z. That's why the third letter was somehow shorter. About this letter, I will read a few paragraphs. The title is The Third Open Letter to Human Leaders. Dear Chinese President, US President, Russian President, UK Prime Minister, French President, Japanese Prime Minister, German Chancellor, Indian Prime Minister, Brazilian President, South African President, and UN Secretary General. It starts like this. As a scholar devoted to human problem research for 34 years, and an entrepreneur and citizen of Beijing, I am, for the same purpose, writing this letter to you, human leaders, for the third time. The problem is that the human beings are now facing the danger of extinction, which is not a literally dying out, but a real extinction. No one survives. There will be no chance left for human beings to press the restart key. For all of these, science and technology are the chief culprit. It is time to take decisive measures. Otherwise, human beings will extinct soon due to the development of science and technology within no longer than 200 or 300 years, or at most 100 years. This is one of my crucial conclusions drawn from the 30-year research. For this, when I wrote letters to 26 human leaders in June 2007, people thought I was worried for no reason. And then, when I wrote letters to heads of China and US in November 2009, people believed I just exaggerated the fact. Now, I am writing to you again because a research result issued by an international authority is fully consistent with my findings. It was reported by American media on May 7th that one of the study groups in the Future of Humanity Institute at the University of Oxford said that high tech could wipe out humanity in the next century. This study group is made up of a number of mathematicians, philosophers, and scientists. In their opinions, more and more evidences indicate that the development of science and technology has been out of the control of humanity. If we could not face up to and solve this problem, science and technology will destroy the humanity by as early as next century. People all around the globe should regard the prevention of human extinction as a top priority. Then, I talked about my solution to this problem. As the continuing development of science and technology will definitely destroy the humanity, action must be taken to stop this tendency. Meanwhile, those potentially dangerous technologies that could possibly lead to the extinction of humanity, especially their corresponding scientific theories, should all be sealed up permanently. Only through consistent and united global actions can we restrict the development of science and technology. Moreover, the actions should be absolutely united and consistent. Currently, however, it is impossible to achieve this goal when countries are divided and ruled. Under this condition, each nation has its own considerations, and meanwhile worries about the considerations of other countries. In order to achieve the difficult goal to restrict the development of science and technology, the first step is definitely to unify all mankind as a whole. Only a global government can really consider questions and deal with them from all aspects of the interests of all mankind. Finally, it comes to my appeal. Dear leaders, you are the most powerful men in the world, whose consensus and determination will have a decisive impact on all humanity. There is really not much time for us. Your acting in concert will be able to save mankind from extinction. If this can be achieved, mankind of all generations will surely remember your immeasurable merit forever. Above is my third open letter to human leaders. Still, I got no reply. Thank you.